Hey, seventh grade. I'm filming this on a Sunday night, so I don't know. Happy Tuesday in the future. Hope you guys are well. You may have noticed that I haven't been in the building a bunch lately. We do have some COVID in the home. Everybody's doing okay-ish. We hope to be back soon, but we miss you guys. Encourage you to keep being safe and stopping the spread. I'm really grateful that we have plenty of capable, wonderful, caring staff members that are taking care of you. And it totally doesn't matter if I'm not there, but I do miss you guys. Hope you're well. I'm glad I can at least see you on pod. So let's get right to it. Our WTMS core values after work hard, the next is take responsibility. And for most people, that probably just makes you think of if you do something wrong, afterwards fessing up and taking responsibility and not making excuses. But I think it's more than that. I think habit one of, if you remember the 7 habits from last year, it's be proactive. That circle of control and saying, I'm responsible for this. Sometimes other things get in the way of my life, but I can't blame everything on them. Okay. So I think that's important of saying that you're the driver of the car of your life. To make a metaphor there. So just remember that. All right. So work hard, take responsibility. Those are things we stand for at WTMS. Chromebooks, if you're having issues that your homeroom teacher can't help you with, we used to have you go to the office if I wasn't available, but we'd like you to go to the library now, okay, if that's possible. So if you can't find me, help you. Oh, I blocked some of that with my picture. I apologize. But they'll be able to help you out. But things go a little easier if you bring it working and charged. So let's take care of that, shall we? From there, I did want to thank you on our surveys, which is kind of strange. The sort of satisfaction on pod went up slightly with videos as opposed to in person. Maybe you guys like this head version of me instead of the real thing. But what I really enjoyed was that I really have to tell my homeroom teachers a compliment of 95% of you basically said that you were watching it together and having discussions afterwards. I was worried that the videos were just going to get ignored a little bit. So I appreciate that. I really appreciate as seventh graders the chance to try out the second step curriculum that we're doing. Okay, it's outside of what you're used to with the 7 habit stuff. But I know you know second step a little bit from elementary. So I hope you are enjoying these, but you're kind of helping us test out this curriculum. So thanks, seventh grade. Unit 2, if you remember, is all about recognizing bullying and harassment. And our last lesson, we talked about first before then the difference, the drastic difference between good-natured flirting and something more akin to sexual harassment. And to me, I'll keep telling you, the reaction of the person who's receiving this attention to me is the defining factor. Okay, if they find it in any way uncomfortable, and they'd like it to stop, that's not flirting. Okay. So we learned last week that there are lots of effects, both in the short term and long term, of sexual harassment. And people that have experienced harassment have pretty bad effects often. And lots of people experience it. Okay. So hopefully you've got that cemented in the brain a little bit is we're all going to have romantic relationships at some point in your life. But you got to learn the difference between attention that people are enjoying or if it's unwanted attention. And hopefully you don't push that boundary at all. All right, boys and girls. This week, I'm going to talk a little bit about gender-based harassment based on, and remember harassment, bullying. Bullying is just because you don't like the person, could be any reason, but harassment's mistreatment, purposeful mistreatment based on a characteristic, possibly their religion, okay, anything like that. They play for the soccer team, whatever but this is a certain type of harassment, gender-based. And we're going to go, before we get to that quote to end on, over here to our second step stuff. Excuse me, can't talk today. Maybe my face is better right there. And talk first about what it is exactly, okay? Gender-based harassment, we'll learn to recognize it and the effects it can have on someone. We'll also learn how stereotypes, if you don't know that word, I hope you will know it after this lesson, how they contribute to gender-based harassment. All right, sounds good. It'll be pretty short, and then you guys can have hopefully some good, healthy discussions in homeroom. So here's a little question for you, and this is probably something as adults that we think about. Is this statement true or false? All teenagers are on social media 24/7. Okay, got to get your snaps out there and your Instas going and get your TikToks going. Okay, get those going. That's true, right? True. Let's reveal the answer. False. You probably know that because you're a teenager. Not all teenagers are on social media all the time. Some of them don't even have any. Okay. So what you just figured out is that's a stereotype, one that maybe older folks like me have put on younger people. Oh, they care about social media. Well, what's this fancy word stereotype? Let's find out. An oversimplified belief or idea that groups of people have about particular characteristics, or that all people with a particular characteristic are the same. I think that's important. Is if you find one person who is a certain religion or has a certain color in hair, and then you extrapolate and say all people that are that way are blonde or look that way are going to be into something. Okay, stereotypes are very, very dangerous. Actually, it's the basis for a lot of stuff, not just harassment and bullying, but also racism. Okay, another pretty pernicious, harmful forms of just mistreatment of others. So, like we talked about, a gender stereotype is saying basically, oh, girls are blank or boys are this. You're just putting these big, broad categories together and sort of prejudging people. Well, in reality, one's characteristics can't define you. It's because you're a boy, girl, where you're from, your last name. They were all individuals. So let's talk a little bit more about the stereotypes, shall we? With a partner, you could do this, and homeroom teachers, I suppose, you could pause if you wanted to. But I want you to know that as I batten out stereotypes, we all fall into them sometimes. Okay, so if I said boys tend to be better at than girls, or girls tend to be better at than boys, if you start painting in these really broad strokes, you might be getting the stereotypes. Okay, and I don't really want to mention any, but things maybe boys. Maybe not organized, dirty. Okay, girls more organized, girls more caring, boys tough dudes with no feelings. Okay, these are some stereotypes that have existed over the years. The next one, with a partner, already did that. Excuse me. Next. So if you have some of those gender-based stereotypes and you think all girls are this or all boys are that, or whatever it may be, or girls are supposed to act this way, some people, if they think someone is supposed to act this way, which is interesting because you should just let people live their own lives, then they might start mistreating you because you're saying, oh, you should be doing this. And that's pretty dangerous. All right. The video was a little long for this one, and I just didn't think it made its point as well as I thought it should. So we're going to skip that and just talk about the effects of gender-based harassment. And maybe give you a quick Schaefer story at the end. So the effects of gender-based harassment. Situation one, a girl is harassed for having really short hair and always wearing athletic clothes. So, right? Well, maybe people think girls have to have this or dress this way. How might gender-based harassment affect this student? This appears to be at school, but she's not going to feel very comfortable. And we've talked about before, middle school is a time when people naturally feel a little bit insecure about the way that they look and things like that, the way that they dress. So I think that could be pretty bad. May not want to come to school, may feel embarrassed. There's all this kind of continuum or spectrum of things that might happen there. Okay. Next, how might gender-based harassment affect these students? A boy is harassed because he's not into competitive sports, has a lot of female friends, and enjoys art. Okay. And a girl who's really good at a male-dominated video game is constantly harassed online. Not a gamer at all. My gaming career peaked with Mario Brothers, or probably Zelda. I was a decent Zelda player. That's probably my favorite game. The online world, I've heard, can be pretty toxic. Lots of, because better than I do, that there's a social media aspect within video games where you can chat with somebody or talk to them. And I've heard that can be a pretty scary place for girls sometimes. So what could happen to those guys? Okay, that sort of alienation, feeling like they don't belong, feeling like they don't feel special, which we all want to have. So it can be pretty bad. I don't think I have a big story about gender-based discrimination or harassment or stereotypes, but I remember when I was working in Oregon, and I was talking to somebody about Shakespeare and poetry, and this friend of mine, an older teacher, was kind of saying like, oh yeah, I forgot, because I was a football coach at the time, which fit into male stereotypes, right? Sports and tough guy stuff. And he was kind of like, why do you like that? You're not supposed to. Hey, oh, you must be kind of a sensitive guy. And I remember thinking like, why is he even saying that? I'm just who I am. But I was hearing that as a grown man. If I'd heard that before, and to be honest, I kept down parts of the interests I had. in reading and music and poetry and different things like that, because I listen to stereotypes and harassment, or not harassment, but just these assumptions that you had to be into whatever, I don't know, sports or manly things. And if it's something you find interesting, whether you're a girl or boy, I encourage you to pursue that interest. And I also encourage you to just let people live their own life a little bit. Okay. No one has to dress the way that you want. In our school, where we have a great art program and a great art teacher, the idea of a boy not supposed to be in the art kind of makes me laugh. Okay. Because I think we're sort of over that a little bit, that you don't have to do this or do what society tells you what you want to do. Okay. Find your role in life, your niche, and hopefully you'll find what makes you happy. All right. I think the quote at the end is from Alex Morgan, famous U.S. soccer player, and I like this. When I was a kid, I'm paraphrasing before I get to her, but you throw like a girl, you do that like a girl. That's meant as an insult. Alex Morgan on the U.S. women's team that has kicked the crap out of anything that the men's team has ever done says this: when people say you run like a girl, you play like a girl, it's not what it used to be. Doesn't mean what it used to be. That shouldn't be a negative. You should be proud to play like a girl. I love that. Best athlete I ever coached in 11 years or 12 or something of coaching was definitely a girl. Okay. So just remember, like I talked about before, take it easy on the judgment. And if you feel like you want to do something that's maybe not a traditional, whatever, gender stereotype, that's okay. Okay. Pursue the things that you want to do. Thanks for listening today, guys, about this specific type of harassment. I hope you guys are all going to have a great week. We're getting close to Christmas, and I hope to be back at school soon and see you guys in person. Later.